everyone. Thank you for listening in. I know it's been a few weeks since I've been on here. It might have been like a month, but I'm still on the wall. I'm still watching and warning. I've just been doing a lot more posts in this season than videos until I'm called otherwise, just because it's been a really busy season and I've really wanted to optimize my time. And so posts, tend to be a lot quicker than videos. But with that being said, I feel like I'm being led and called to come on here and tell you guys a few things that I am looking out for, because my goodness, even since the last time I've been on here, so much has happened, even just from a prophetic sense. And one of the things I'm really watching for is the SDG summit that's coming up from the 18th to the 19th. And I'm going to share a post in the description box about a few pointers, a few reasons why this looks like it could very well be the Daniel 9:27 covenant that is confirmed after the great restrainer is removed, after the rapture. So I'm going to share that, and it's a 7-year covenant. It's about peace. J.D. Farag actually had a specific name for it, but it has to do with peace and safety. Like the Bible says, peace and safety and sudden destruction will come upon them and they will not escape. And it's about there's many nations involved. It just seems to really fit these several points that show that it could very well be Daniel 9:27. In fact, what's really exciting, and this will be encouraging for those looking for Jesus, is that there are a few prophecies to watch that are extra biblical, meaning they're from not necessarily the Bible, but it's from like personal prophecies that. We always test the prophecies. That's what the Bible says. But these are prophecies from brothers and sisters, or a brother and a sister, that have to do with what is coming up on September 18th and 19th. So I'm going to share these, and I'm going to share the links in the description box. But Sister Dana Rankin, I believe her name was, she was shown a while back, I think maybe a few years ago, that what's coming up in September 18th and 19th is the Daniel 9:27 covenant about to be confirmed. So she has that she received, and also I think it was either Bro Trevor or Bro Trent. I have the video link in the description box for you guys, but he also received that this would be it, and that time is super short. So I am watching for those prophecies. Another prophecy I'm watching for is I'm still watching for the prophecies that have to do with the Abraham Accords and God's land being split from Sister Sarah. And there's been some other people that have alluded to this as well as on prophecies, but I always share about Sister Sarah's prophecies, watching Trump come out and being a part of and ushering in the parting of God's land, which would usher in judgment, which is going to come right after the rapture. So what is happening now, and I wanted to share this, it was on a Paul Begley video, and Pastor Paul Begley shared, and I apologize, I don't have the original article, but it's about how now Saudi Arabia is working on getting God's land split, and they're working on a Palestinian state and all of that. And apparently Biden is on board, and he wants this done officially by this month. Now, we know what happens when you mess with the apple of God's eye. If you study the word and you study Bible prophecy, you know that you touch the apple of God's eye and judgment is coming. So that's very interesting, because the summit is right after the Feast of Trumpets. Now the Gregorian calendar, the Feast of Trumpets is the 16th, but biblically I believe it's when they spot the new moon, the new crescent moon, not the conjunctive black moon, which may be from the 17th to the 18th. So I usually like to watch for that being confirmed. So maybe it's the 17th and 18th. But the fact of the matter is that this summit is happening right after the Feast of Trumpets, or on the latter end of it. So I'm just like blown away. The Feast of Trumpet itself has a lot of prophetic significance towards like the Jewish wedding. And it's interesting that we leave on the last trump, and that's the last trump that blows on the Feast of Trumpets. So that's interesting. But there's also signs in the heavens that are pointing to September. In fact, I'll put a couple of links, but God a Minute, Aaron from God a Minute explained about 2023 and 30, and how there's different signs in the heavens and the constellations that God puts the sun, moon, and stars there for appointed season and days and times. So I think it's Genesis 1:14. He talks about the significance of what's happening with Leah and what's happening with Rachel in 2023 and 2030. Rachel representing Jacob's bride that he had to work longer for, and then Leah representing like us, who he gets right away, but then again he wants to also work 7 years for Rachel, like the Lord is going to work in essence for Israel, because during that 7 years he's going to reveal himself to them, and a lot of them are going to get saved. So anyway, that's very interesting. I'm putting that in the description box. And also there's a whole bunch of things. There's like Nashamura, comet. There's the child. So you know how Revelation 12:3-5 talks about the woman who's clothed with a sun, the moon is at her feet, and she's travailing with child. Okay, so read Revelation 12:3-5, I think it is, and you have to look at this video about all the different comets that are all set in place, where we call it Virgo, but it's the virgin, the woman, and how the child, the comet called child, is coming out of her womb on Feast of Trumpets, which is like, hello, the birth of the man child. Revelation 12 sign, like that everyone saw in 2017. I mean, this one she's got a child in her womb that's leaving on the Feast of Trumpets. So like, is that not mind-blowing or what? So I'm gonna put hourly watch video as well here. It'll talk about the child, and I think you'll get to see like a screenshot of all the different prophetically significant comets that are actually lining up in the virgin or in the woman in the heavens. So it's so interesting. And I'm not an expert at this by any means, but I think biblical astronomy, not astrology, is definitely pointing to the season that we're in. Because obviously, if this is Daniel 9:27 that's about to be confirmed, if this is in fact it, and these prophecies are correct, then we're gone before that. So don't fall asleep. This is like the worst time to fall asleep, because it really looks like this could be it. And what else was I going to share? Oh, and Ty Green had a very interesting video about the 10 Kings and about the BRICS summit that happened this past month. And he has a couple of more where he kind of like builds on it, but I'm gonna share the first one that I saw most recently about BRICS and about the 10 Kings, the end time kings, who these nations don't necessarily have to rise before we leave, but it just points to the time that we're in. So it's very exciting. And let's see, what else is there I was gonna share with you guys. I'm going to share the video from Watchmen on the Wall 88, a 7-year rescue plan summit, and the Feast of Trumpets. And believe it or not, there's a lot of prophecy teachers, including Mark Biltz, including Paul Begley, J.D. Farag. They're actually watching this Feast of Trumpets and the time surrounding it for potential rapture. Like, it's a really high watch time. I can't even emphasize to you how high of a watch it is. Like, if this time comes and goes and we get past the 18th and the 19th, I'm really gonna wonder like what the heck happened, because so much is lining up. And of course you got, the things like, we're sending millions of dollars to Taiwan, and China, already hates the government there, already hates our government, and all of that. And then you have there's just a slew of things, the Sarmat 2 missile from Russia being placed, where it needs to in order to make a first strike. And it's just, there's so much that's still happening, but I would definitely be watching the period between now and Feast of Trumpets. In fact, Sister Sarah believes that, and I'll just kind of throw this out there, that we would have to be gone before, like potentially the week before Feast of Trumpets, because she believes that there's going to be like certain wars after the Bride of Christ leaves in order to usher in the Antichrist signing that peace plan. So, wow, like, what if she's right? What if it is around the 6th or the 7th? And she believes that the signs in the heavens seem to point to the man-child, the bride of Christ, that represents the rapture, being taken up into heaven, like in Revelation 12. She believes that may happen around September 6th and 7th, and it may not even wait until Feast of Trumpets. So I'm just going to I believe we're already in a really high watch time through the 6th and 7th, through the Feast of Trumpets. And if we still make it past here, I'm going to prayerfully consider like what we should look at next. There was one video talked about this could be the end of a Jubilee year. So if we make it past Feast of Trumpets, then I could start to, I think that like there's a possibility it could be celebrated on Day of Atonement, on a year of Jubilee. But I'm not going to really talk about that right now, because right now I'm watching between now and Feast of Trumpets. So this is a super high watch time. If you don't know the Lord, like, please invite him into your life. Believe his gospel, what he did on that cross, that he died on the cross, and he was buried, and he was raised on the third day. And that when you trust in him and his finished works on the cross, that you get salvation. And that's the gospel. In 1 Corinthians 15, 1-4, that's the main place where you find the gospel. I'm going to put it in the description box. You just have to wholeheartedly, with a repentant heart, turning towards Christ, believe what he did for you. That it's all about him. John 14:6 says he's the way, the truth, and the life, and no one gets to the Father except through him. So if you don't know him, please come to know him. If you do know Jesus, draw near to him, get his gospel out, occupy and redeem the time, stay watchful. This is no time to fall asleep. And I'm hoping that this is it. To be honest, it really looks like it could be. Like, I'm not God, so I can't tell you with certainty, but I can tell you, the Bible says to encourage each other as you see the day approaching. And I don't know about you guys, but I really see the day approaching. So hopefully this video is encouraging to somebody, or it serves as a warning to somebody, or it gets the gospel to somebody. That is my prayer with this video. And if you have any prayer requests, feel free to put them in the comment section. Or if you just gave your life to Christ, feel free to put it in the comment section. I'm going to put the gospel in the description box for those of you that really want to look at the gospel, and you really just want to kind of like read over it and contemplate, like what it means and what the Bible says and everything. But yeah, believe on him, all right, and you'll be saved. And there's a whole bunch of other stuff I could talk to you about, but it's just like endless, more and more signs. So look up, and hopefully I'll just see you in the air. Bye for now.